Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel. Today's episode of Thomas Thrift Store Hauls is going to be special as we will be taking a look at 2 episodes worth of Thomas merch. I have these bags full of amazing Thomas engines and rolling stock that were originally going to be 2 separate episodes, but decided to showcase both and make one big episode of Thomas Thrift Store Hauls. Trust me, there is so much amazing stuff to take a look at, so I'd recommend getting a snack. Maybe like a Kit Kat or something, I don't know. Because we've got a lot of stuff to go through. As always, I hope you enjoy the video. First up is the Diecast range of engines. Starting off from the Ertl range, Caroline. This is an incredibly detailed and awesome item. Everything about it is so nicely made. The Ertl range made a great amount of engines, but I'd argue that the road vehicles they made are even better. This item just goes to show how much detail they put into the Thomas merchandise back then. I didn't even know that Ertl made Caroline, but I'm really happy to have it in my Thomas collection. Next up, we have the Ertl Trevor. I always thought this item was really small, but it's actually a lot bigger than I thought. It's a very good version of Trevor though. For the longest time, the only version of Trevor I had was the Adventures one, but now I have this one, which I think I like better. Let me know which version of Trevor you like better. Our next engine is an amazing one, and a character I always wanted to get from the Ertl Thomas range, that being Diesel 199. This engine is just so awesome looking. So detailed and accurate. I love how big this engine is as well. The face looks great and is overall one of my favorite Ertl engines. I'm not a big fan of diesels, so this engine really is a great one in my opinion. Next up is a very interesting one. It's the Take Along Byron. I had no idea this existed, but I really like it. It's super detailed and looks just like the character from the show. I don't have any version of Byron, so this is a really nice item to have. I'm not sure how rare this item is, but considering I've never seen it before, I'd imagine it's pretty uncommon. Next up is the Take and Play Jack, the one from 2014 with the big magnets. Jack was one of the few characters that really didn't get affected by the downgrade the Take and Play range got, so this is a really nice item. I do have the Adventures one, and I'd like to use the face for a custom of a TV series Bruno. Next up is Adventures Thomas. Not much to say about it. Next we have a Push-Along Thomas. Again, not much to say. Our last Diecast Thomas engines are All Engines Go ones. Here we have the Thomas that came in the Race for the Sodar Cup set, and the Kana that came in the set too. Both of these engines are very nice items. I love the special face variants that All Engines Go characters get. And lastly, we have All Engines Go Percy that came in the passenger set. I love this version of Percy because the face is so silly. Probably my favorite Percy variant we got so far. We have a few wooden railway items to take a look at, starting off with Oliver. This is definitely not one of my favorite wooden railway items, as it's just so plain. There's literally nothing going on with this model. It's very lacking in detail. I can't really formulate an opinion on something when it has nothing to it. The face is nice, but that's about it. The Trackmaster one isn't much better, but at least there's more going on. I think we can all agree that Take Along made the best Oliver. At least I have both Duck and Oliver now, so that's kinda cool. Next up is a pretty good wooden railway item, the recycling truck. One thing that Wooden Railway does that I like is the amount of rolling stock. Most of the trucks they make are pretty good and have a good amount of detail. I really like this one. The face is really nice and the side details are pretty good too. I think this came with a cargo piece, but I don't have it. Also, just a side note, am I the only one who is bothered by the fact that all trucks in Wooden Railway are called cars? I don't know, maybe it's just me. Here's a wooden railway hero. It's in pretty bad condition, but it's one of the better wooden railway models in my opinion. I like that he has detail, but I still like the Trackmaster and Take and Play better. Our last wooden railway item is the Lunar New Year's Thomas. This is a very nice item, lots of good details, and the theming is very nice. I remember seeing this item in stores back when this range was still in production. Probably should have got it, but it's fine. On to my favorite range of Thomas merchandise, Trackmaster. As always, we'll take a look at the rolling stock first, which is a red Trackmaster 2 truck, an orange truck, the red truck from the Talking Thomas and Percy set, the yellow truck from the Talking Thomas and Percy set, the green truck from the Monkey Palace set, the blue truck from the All Engines Go Thomas, the dark blue truck from Steelworks Thomas, the red coach from the All Engines Go Percy set, classic Trackmaster brake van, Edward's tender, and James's tender. On to the engines. First up, we have the Trackmaster 2 Gordon. Not much to say about him though. It's an okay version of Gordon. Next up, we have the Trackmaster 2 Percy. This one is an interesting one as it's the more uncommon version with the half-painted dome. For those who don't know, Mattel released this version of Percy for a little and then switched back to the original one. Why? No clue, but I'm happy that they didn't use this one for that long. Next is a Trackmaster 2 Thomas missing his side rods and funnel. I don't know how that happens. Here's a pretty cool one. It's the motorized Terrence. Very nice item. This came out around the time when Mattel started to put effort into the merch again, and then the show ended. It was nice to get some awesome stuff again though. I already have this item, so maybe I'll make an All Engines Go Terrence? Next is a Trackmaster 2 James with the tender. It's hard to get engines with their tenders, I've found. You either only get the engine or only the tender. This is a good version of James though. Next is a Hit Toy Company Trackmaster Emily. Nice item, however it doesn't have the tender. I think this is the 5th Emily I have. Next up is one I don't come across very often. It's the Steelworks Thomas, one of my favorite Trackmaster 2 Thomas variants. I love all the detail on this one, it looks so good. I'm a really big fan of the face on this Thomas. This is the only time Mattel used it, which makes this item even more special. Awesome item, though it didn't sell very well from what I remember. This is one I was very excited to get, as I don't have it yet. It's the Thomas that came in the Superstation. I thought this one would be pretty easy to find as so many of them were sold, but I've only ever found this one, and I'm so happy to have it now in my Trackmaster collection. Remember those 2 trucks from the Talking Thomas and Percy set we took a look at? Well, we've also got the engines as well. Here is the Thomas from the set. Very nice item. I love the talking engines, they're so much fun. I actually have the Thomas and Percy, which I also got from a thrift store. And here's Percy. I also have them, but it's really cool to have extra talking engines as they are very nice models. Lots of awesome details, and the lamps on the engines are a fun feature. To go along with the talking Thomas and Percy, we have Bulstrode, who came in the set as well. I don't have this version of Bulstrode, so I'm very happy to have one. I also have the Hit Toy Trackmaster one for comparison. It's a lot smaller, but has more detail. I'm just missing the Tomy one and the motorized one with more details. Okay, so the next item is a Trackmaster character that I've wanted for so long, and I finally got one. It's, at least in my opinion, one of the best Trackmaster models ever made. That being the Hit Toy Company Trackmaster Rocky. I am so excited to have this character. It's one of the coolest things Trackmaster has ever made. The detail is incredible, the design is amazing, and best of all, it's motorized. They could have so easily made Rocky non-motorized, and it would have been great, but the fact that the crane arm goes up and down and the pistons work, is so amazing. I love this item so much, and it's in very good condition too. I did have to rewire the front truck as it was broken, but thankfully it was a pretty easy fix. Overall, an incredible item. Lastly, we have an All Engines Go motorized Thomas. Not much to say about it, but it's nice. Lastly, we have the miscellaneous engines. First up is some minis. We have Shed 17 Thomas, Percy, Sweets Emily, Stanley, Furry Edward, Scruff, Sweets Ferdinand, and Charlie. Next are the Busybucks engines. We have Thomas, Percy, James, Clarabelle, Toby, and Mavis. And last but not least, we have the All Engines Go Stunt Thomas and Percy. I actually got another Thomas before from a thrift store, so now I have two. As for Percy, it's nice to have one, as I have both engines, which is good. And that's everything. This was probably the longest episode in the Thomas Thrift Store Haul series, and I had a lot of fun going through all of these awesome Thomas engines. Let me know in the comments, what item was your favorite? Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you guys later.